One of my favorite archetypes in contemporary storytelling is the black cat and golden retriever duo. And no, I am not talking about the animals themselves, although I certainly don't mind those either. I mean, come on, look at these cuties. No, I am referring to a pair of character archetypes. One who supposedly has the demeanor of a black cat, while the other has the demeanor of a golden retriever. I love seeing this dynamic on screen whenever I see it, provided it is written well. I think it's interesting to see how two incredibly different personalities interact, clash, and complement each other. Final deadlines were quickly approaching. I had no idea what to do, but in the end, I decided I would design 2 characters centered around these 2 archetypes. So yeah, here's my silly little video about my silly little character designs. Enjoy. To start off, I like to conduct research about whatever I think is relevant to the character, and even with the time crunch I had, these 2 characters were no exception. The black cat personality type doesn't have much scholarly research behind it, but a cursory internet search tells me that black cat people are often well put together, know their worth, and prefer keeping to themselves. They can also be coy, aloof, mysterious, somewhat intimidating, but also capable of warmth and loyalty. At this point, I felt like I had a decent understanding of the archetype, so I went ahead and started sketching. For Felix's face, I referenced the shapes in a black cat's face, and the result is 6 different faces ranging from a more gentler disposition to ones with a completely flat affect. I ultimately went with one of the more emotionless faces just because it fits well with the aloof nature of the black cat archetype. Felix's hair, on the other hand, was probably the easiest to design. After experimenting with different styles, I ended up giving Felix a simple ponytail in the back with bangs in the front just because it reminded me of a black cat's tail. This leads us to Felix's clothing, probably the most time-consuming element of her design. I imagine Felix as someone who is well put together, and when we think of someone well put together, we often think of people who put effort into their appearance. As such, there was deliberate effort to make this character fashionable. I referenced more severe fashion trends like punk and street fashion, as well as something called cat-eye makeup. I ended up creating 9 iterations of Felix's outfit, and I found I preferred the more skin-tight designs, just because it complemented Felix's lithe physique and reminded me of a cat's sleek body. And with that, here's the final render. Onto the golden retriever. If the black cat personality is reserved and intimidating, then the golden retriever archetype is extroverted and unafraid to try new things. They are affectionate, gentle, loyal, playful, and like many extroverted friends, will be the one to drag their black cat friends and partners out to socialize. I would know, I'm rooming with one. Come and say hi. Hi! Okay. Coming up with Jason's face was easy enough. All I did was reference the face of actor Gavin Castellano, who has the most golden retriever-coated face I've ever seen. For those of you who don't know, Gavin Castellano plays one of the main leads in this show, which I do not like. You cannot change my mind about this, talk to the wall. Anyway, since I was satisfied with Jason's face, I went ahead and experimented with his hair. After coming up with a few iterations, I ultimately went with the hairstyle I felt was the messiest. It just made sense for a character who was more carefree. But then we get to Jason's clothes. While I tried incorporating the golden retriever into Jason's clothing like I did with the black cat and Felix, I found these interpretations were either too on the nose or just silly. Ultimately, I wasn't willing to part with the golden retriever imagery completely, so I ended up choosing designs that had golden retriever imagery, but said imagery was relegated as a secondary detail. To compensate for this lack of explicitly golden retriever-themed imagery, I tried to make sure Jason embodied his assigned archetype in other ways. I gave Jason bright colors to reflect the archetype's stereotypical sunny disposition. In particular, I emphasized a desaturated yellow to mimic a golden retriever's titular coat. I also made Jason considerably taller than Felix because if you know anything about cats and dogs, you know that golden retrievers tower over their feline counterparts. I finished him off with wide, expressive eyes, and with that, Jason was done. Here's the final render. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I am tired, I have exams to study for, so unfortunately that means you all get a considerably less eloquent outro than I would like. I hope you enjoyed the pretty cat girl and the pretty dog boy. I am going to sleep, and I will see you whenever I see you. Bye.